Jesus Christ. All right. We're here.
We're here.
3 Night Live is off to a roaring start.
Hey, we're on time,
We
I
are.
think.
We are on time. I'm glad we convened a few minutes earlier.
I was about to say, mostly I'm on time. Sorry about that. Just,
We can no, you're good. We can maybe just start it up and wait a few minutes to see if anybody trickles in, and if it
Yeah,
and then just go for it eventually.
that sounds good. I'm switching over to the personal. Are we going live on the talk as well?
I'm live on the talk.
Live on the talk.
Let me see if YouTube ever
Wait.
came up.
YouTube is live. Opening up the personal laptop so I can get YouTube rolling on that. And then I'll Brandon, did you want to monitor the or no, you can monitor. Which chat can you monitor? No.
I can at least do TikTok. I have
Okay.
little window.
Okay. Cool. Good deal. What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to the behind the scenes. This is how the magic happens. I don't even know if anyone's in here, but
Who knows?
vibes. Yeah.
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
A lot of people really thrive on the replays. So if you're here on the replays, consider dropping a sub. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're just three friends who love to shoot the shit, talk about college football. So glad to have you.
And some of us have very poor time management skills. Because, this probably all should have been set up before we started, but hey.
Hey, we're dudes.
Yeah, I had
What can we
to
say?
listen. I'm married, all right. You gotta take other people into account here.
Right.
Big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, not that y'all would know anything about that.
No, sir.
Okay. Can confirm we're live on YouTube. I've seen it on two different devices.
He's got confirmation.
I'm wired in.
Are you?
I am. But anyway.
We are also live on TikTok.
Hot damn. Do y'all think it's worth it to go live on Instagram?
IG Live. I'll pull up Facebook. We'll get the quad stream going.
See, that's the problem, is that going live on Instagram, I mean, could I potentially do it? Yeah, but I don't know. It would literally just be my face on my phone, like like good old film stock used to do on the back porch.
That's the boy.
Man, I'm hammered right now, but I'm live on Instagram. Oh, God bless. But yeah, we're at 773 right now. Let's go, boys.
Very nice.
Progress.
Okay, so I mean, honestly, we're live, so we can just jump right in if we want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm down to run it.
Yeah.
Go for it, Brandon.
First one since the Natty.
Business as usual. It's like
so what? Let's just give it an overview.
Yeah.
Are we gonna recap Natty at all? Just talk maybe end of season stuff, anything that comes to mind. Really, just kind of put a nice little bow on it, so we can move on to the off season, and then we have a tier list. Ready to go about this decade's national champions. So, does that encompass it all? Just to make sure I have all my talking points ready.
I think that's the plan, and the first bit's supposed to be a little bit more free flowing, and then
I'm with you. Okay, cool.
Well, what's our timetable looking like? We try to keep it in an hour and a half.
I think about an hour would be good. At least to
good
start.
Deal.
We'll see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
If the editing room needs to get involved and chop it up a little bit, but we're having a good conversation, we can manage with that.
Good deal. All right, I'm ready.
All right, fellas. Well, to anybody in the live stream or who is watching back the live stream or the actual video on YouTube, welcome to 3 and Out. Welcome back. If you're coming back, we appreciate you. This is our little first installment of our off-season content. We're going to be moving forward, going live every Tuesday at 7:30, call it, there and thereabout. Subject to change, but we're going to try to be consistent on those days and stream and record at the same time with y'all in here to do it. it's kind of experimenting with different kinds of ways of doing it in the off season, and this seems like it has a lot of potential. I'm sure we'll have a great time. So this one is our first one. We kind of didn't gloss over the Natty. We haven't really talked about it yet. We took a little hiatus, at least as long of a hiatus as we would, about a week on the long form. So now we're back, and the game happened, and Ohio State won. I'll throw it to y'all. What are y'all thoughts on the Natty? Anything in the offseason? I mean, I know this is more conversational, just to throw an intro in there, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll just come out and say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I turned the Natty off at halftime. Because
it got tough to watch.
It got tough to watch.
Points.
Yeah, because
after that first drive.
Yeah, it seemed all Ohio State there. I mean, it looked like they were going to dominate the middle eight. I'm going to.
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, at least it's happening now and not halfway.
That's true.
Drew, also your audio is coming in a little hot.
Like loud?
Yeah, like a little bit.
Okay. All right.
It's just FYI. I mean, we can still hear you, so you can keep going.
Okay.
Oh, we got the alternate angle.
How we do it, fellas? Anyway,
where's my mark?
You should hear this too.
That's funny.
Anyway, so yeah, turned it off at halftime. It looked like Ohio State was going to dominate the middle eight. That had been like, for some reason, really harped on like this season specifically. Even though I feel like it's just common sense that if you score before halftime and get the ball to open the second half, like that's just get a good. I think it used to be called a 2-for-1. Yeah, turn it off, and then come to find out it was like a less than 10-point game down the stretch, and then Ohio State was able to ice the game late.
Yeah,
so.
Didn't really feel like it though. I mean,
no, okay,
I don't know. It just seemed that I felt like Notre Dame. After that first drive, I mean, it was a great drive. It was a death march to open the game. I'm pretty sure it was like the longest opening drive in national championship history or something like that. I think it was like 17 or 18 plays. Yeah.
I mean,
but the thing is,
the quarter, man.
Yeah. But the thing is they gassed Riley Leonard from the jump. They were talking about how after that drive, he ran off the sidelines and like threw up. So like, I get you want to come out and stick to your game plan. But they kind of, I don't know. It was a great drive, that's for sure, but they just spent it all on that first drive.
The scripting was impeccable. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, that first drive had everything. You know, they got him going on the quick passing game. You know, ran him a lot. Like, granted, it did take up half a quarter and tired him out very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, as a casual observer watching this game, that's everything I wanted from the first drive from Notre Dame. Granted, we didn't get anything else pretty much the rest of the game from Notre Dame, but
yeah,
it was nice to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the winning game plan if they were able to sustain that a little bit. That's how you do it. And I mean, you know, those runs were working like, you know, glitch plays in Madden where it's just, you know, Riley Leonard empty backfield, run it up the middle.
Yep.
It's good for 2 yards every go. But obviously Ohio State adapted down the stretch and you know, bottled them up. I don't know, man. I mean, I think we said it from the jump this season. I mean, that roster Ohio State had on paper, you know, probably the most talented roster in the country. If you just look at the names on that, the stars, the NIL money they spent on it. So on paper, they should have won it all. They did this time, but that wasn't always the case. And even earlier this season didn't look like it was going to be the case after that final regular season game against Michigan. But, I mean, say what you want about Ryan Day. He won one, so he's always got that.
No one can take it away.
No one can take it away. I mean, it was crazy. Like after the fact, people were like pulling up old tweets after the Michigan game of like Ohio State fans calling for him to be fired after that Michigan game. Now, I'm sure that maybe wasn't the prevailing sentiment of the fan base, but there was definitely a good few folks who were on his ass after that, and rightfully so. But I mean, just talk about turning it on at the right time. With the extended playoffs, they kind of, you know, came out and and punched Tennessee in the mouth and kept rolling from there. So
It's true. They definitely something clicked after that Michigan game. It was very
mhm.
interesting. It was like a completely different team. I guess, they had that players only meeting and, they came to some sort of understanding. It was really cool to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Teams don't do that these days.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, and with the expanded playoff, I mean, hey, that's something new. I mean, you have Second Life. That was another 4-team playoff season. They're
They're
sitting
done.
on their couch watching the
They're cooked.
playoff, right? So, I mean, it seems that the playoff has already kind of shown its worth in the fact that the two teams that were in the national championship didn't get a first round bye. Um, and then I feel like some people perpetuate the whole narrative of it's kind of similar to the MLB where there was a pattern of teams sitting in the first round, rest versus rust, that kind of thing. Because obviously this year in the inaugural year, teams that got a first round bye did terribly.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if the rest versus rust conversation is completely valid.
I don't think it is. I think it's a little overblown. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm part of this group, but it's probably coping. It's just a bit of cope, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Well,
But
because I mean, we've seen teams in the past, like for example, it's minute, but the difference between like Notre Dame playing Alabama in the semifinals of the national championship game, of the 14 playoff, sorry, in the semifinals of that, like Alabama just went out and smoked them, and they had a week less to rest up and prepare and all that jazz. So I understand that's only a week, but I mean that's what was it? Maybe 10 days.
it
This
wasn't
go around.
anything crazy,
Yeah. So I think the
but people
argument's the
will,
same.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I just think that Ohio State genuinely had a hard time putting things together. And they were not sleepwalking through their schedule, obviously, but like the loss to Oregon, like yeah, it stung a bit, but it wasn't enough to like get them going. Feel like their backs are against the wall. Because I mean, I feel like in years past, like even when you look at like the great Alabama teams, like yeah, an undefeated Alabama team was dangerous, but a one-loss Alabama team was even more so. So I think the same thing could be said about this Ohio State team. It's like, yeah, we know we're amazing, and losing to Oregon at Oregon by 1 point with the ball in our hands with 1 second to go, like that's not. I mean, it's not like. I guess it's kind of like coping a little bit, but like you can still like rationalize your way around it, where it's not that big of a deal.
They
But losing
easily
to
could have won
Michigan,
the game.
yeah, they easily could have won the
Yeah,
game.
If there
they
was
didn't get
two
the
Um,
extra
doors blown off
seconds,
of
they
them.
could have
yeah,
Yeah,
walked out of their winners.
yeah, yeah. But losing to Michigan at home and the way they lost to Michigan, um, was probably the wake up call that they needed. Uh,
absolutely. Yeah, I
so
mean, I would have loved to see a reality where they beat Michigan and how they would have fared in the playoffs.
yeah,
Maybe it would have been the same, but I think you could argue that
I don't know,
gave them a kick in the ass. Because they were hearing about it, obviously.
all month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, hats off to Chip Kelly. I feel like he
Yeah,
improved in the playoffs for sure. He's already gone. I think he went to the NFL somewhere.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
Las Vegas OC with
yeah,
Pete Carroll now. So
that's right.
nice. That's a good
Wow,
pull.
I forgot about Pete Carroll
Yeah,
yeah,
in Vegas.
which
That's really interesting.
we'll have our
just
yearly NFL episode up one of these days.
yeah.
The Super
Um,
Bowl's this weekend, so maybe we can slip something in there if anybody's interested.
Yeah, y'all let us know. But I mean, I've got a question for y'all in like this similar vein. Excuse me. So, I mean, we're not trying to hide it. We're all Georgia fans here. I mean, Noah's literally wearing a Georgia corset. I'm pretty sure Brandon's wearing a Georgia hat.
It's Hawks, but it's close enough.
Close enough. Sorry. So anyway,
Thread.
like,
Just assume my
would
fandom.
Come on, Drew.
would y'all take that like losing to Tech, but still making it.
Yeah,
Like for example, like this year we would have lost to Tech, still made it to the SEC championship game, won the SEC championship game, and then
won the
continued on.
league.
Yeah, would y'all take that?
I don't care who I lose to if I win the Natty. I mean,
Honestly,
yeah, Tech fans probably would be annoying to deal with, but you still won the national championship. I
that's
mean,
still a trophy in the trophy case, brother.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, obviously that was a hypothetical, and it's like if that would happen this year with Georgia, I don't know how much more it would have helped them.
Yeah.
That just had so many injuries down the stretch.
And I'm not
We won't
saying
get down that rabbit
yeah.
hole.
I'm not saying that Georgia and Ohio State are comparable teams from this past season. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, trying to put us in those Ohio State fans' shoes, in the
Yeah.
hypothetical world where if they beat Michigan, they don't get that wake up call and they potentially lose to Tennessee at home. Like,
Mhm.
what's worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
valid.
I mean, obviously, hindsight, I'm sure none of the Ohio State fans are even. If I were in their shoes, I wouldn't even be mad about it. It's like, yeah, Michigan fans can talk their shit, but I mean, at the end of the day, you won the national championship. It kind of be like, an Alabama fan saying, "Oh, well, we beat you in the SEC championship in 2021," but then
Sure.
we go on to win the national championship. So, I mean, I think they probably needed it, honestly. I mean, it was a hell of a reality check. And I'm not going to sit here and definitively say they wouldn't have won the Natty without it, but I mean, I think it definitely helped a little bit.
Yep. No, I agree.
So,
Well, that's about all I've got to say about this past Natty.
yeah. I mean, we won't linger on it too long. Back-to-back years of a Big Ten team winning it. So, little drought for the SEC. 2 years. This is a long time in terms of the SEC winning a national championship. What's going on down south?
They're
We're
gonna
gonna have
start
to start
firing coaches.
Like, they genuinely might. Like,
Yeah, I mean, come on. 2 years. Somebody's got to win one.
you got to lock in,
But-
guys. Greg Sankey's
Yeah.
going to call all 16 teams and be like, "Hey, listen. If we don't start doing better in the playoffs, I'm going to have to start firing y'all. You're not our boss." Yeah, well, still,
I'm sure he would try still.
probably. I don't know. Hey, we still got basketball because apparently we're the best basketball conference in the country right now. So
All of a sudden, I remember
Yeah.
growing up watching Georgia basketball. The SEC was not good.
what are we doing
But-
there, Noah?
I am working on the overlay for our next topic. I'm just on the YouTube.
Okay,
There we go. I'm on the YouTube.
Yeah, we can continue.
Thing.
man, show up to the
Talking
live
while he's
streams.
set up.
You get the true behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Well, hey, the
True.
YouTube just got a seamless transition because I did that earlier. So I just clicked the button and the scene changed, and we are now on the overlay for the tier maker. So
Very nice.
Very nice.
There we go.
Very nice. All right, are we gonna run over to the tier? Do we have anything else to say about the off season, or do we just want to get into the tier list?
I'm good.
we can also circle back at the end if we just kind of want to shoot
Yeah.
for a few minutes.
If we want to pad it out a little bit, but we can go ahead and
Yeah.
knock this out. This will be one of the videos that is going up this week.
Yes.
Date TBD, probably Thursday.
Yeah.
Would be a good day. So keep your eye out for that. But we're going to transition into recording mode so that the editing room can have something to chop up. So these it's the ranking the national champions of the past decade.
Do I need to record this on our end?
No, I'm just giving myself a mark.
Okay.
But
You can
I'm
just
giving
download the
I'm trying to
stream.
think of something to
Okay.
yeah, I'll download the stream and chop it up. It'll be all good. So we're ranking the past 5 national champions.
2020 until Ohio State.
Okay.
And I
All
sent,
right, I got it.
sent the tier list in the group chat. as
Yeah,
well.
I've got it up now.
Cool.
So I'm looking at it. All good. All right.
Unprepared.
So-
Unprepared. Yeah. All right. I got a hook. I promise.
Cool.
We're going to get
All
into it. All right. Who is the best national championship? Oh my God. I just had a brain fart. We got that on live. This won't be going up on YouTube. So it's something you can only catch if you watch live or you rewatch the live streams.
VOD?
So
Yeah.
there's little nugget into our recording
You're seeing how the
recording
sauce is
process.
made.
Yeah. We can't all get it on the first try, guys. It is what it is. All right. Who is the best college football national champion of this decade? Welcome back to 3 and Out. Today is our first live stream of the off season. So every Tuesday at around 7:30. If you want to be there, we're recording every week on live. So hop in, talk some ball with us. We're getting straight into it. So today, as you know, this past national championship has just wrapped up into the offseason. The Ohio State Buckeyes are 2025 college football national champions. And now we have 5 teams to rank of the 2020s in terms of who is the best national champion. We have some interesting teams on here and interesting national champions to rank. I feel like there is some clear favorites and some ones that have been talked about clearly that could go towards the bottom. So we can get into that. But to run it down for you real quick, on my screen, it looks like it is in the correct order. I don't know if that's the same on yours, Noah, but we'll go left to right. 2020 Alabama, 2021 and 2022 Georgia, and then 2023 Michigan and 2024 Ohio State. Those are our national champions that we'll be ranking. Any order we want to go in? We want to start from the bottom, 2020 Bama?
I just got to say, for all you in the comments who are going to come at us about 2019 LSU not being on here, that season started in 2019.
We couldn't do it.
Yes, 2020 was on the jersey patch that year, but it was 2019 season. So,
yeah. Plus, I feel like it makes it a little less interesting. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the prevailing sentiment among college football fans currently, a lot of college football fans, is that 2019 LSU team is one of, if not the best national championship team ever. So I think this is a less done and more interesting comparison. These national champions, because we're starting hot. We'll go left to right. We'll start in 2020 because we're starting hot with 2020 Alabama, which is also a very, very highly regarded national championship team. Obviously, the COVID year, and that was a perfect season, right?
I think 13-0.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Something like that.
I don't believe they lost the game that season. I think they were an undefeated national champ. Because I don't know. I mean, I feel like they were just rolling. They rolled through that season.
How many? Yeah, I don't know how many games they ended up playing that year.
I'm not sure how many games they played, but I'm pretty sure they didn't lose one. However many that was, it was definitely fewer.
10 conference games, 13-0.
Yep.
There you go.
I mean, I'm just trying to remind myself of who they played in the bowl games or the semis, and it was Notre Dame and Ohio State. So, and they won those games 31-14 and 52-24.
Yeah.
They also beat the number 7 Florida Gators by
Kyle
6
Trask
points. Yeah,
led
Kyle
Florida
Trask.
Gators with Kyle Pitts as well, I believe.
Right. The Unicorn.
The Unicorn.
Arkansas, LSU, the 22 Auburn Tigers, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs. We're not going to talk about that. Ole Miss, the number 13 Texas A&M Aggies, and Missouri. So, pretty. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked wins if you count the semifinals.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean,
just laying out the facts.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was an impressive season. They were loaded, too. I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now. Najee Harris, Devonta Smith, John Mechie, Jalen Waddle.
Landon Dickerson, Alex Leatherwood, Thomas Fletcher, Patrick Surtain. Yeah. I mean,
you got an NFL roster, essentially.
Yeah, genuinely.
It was
because of the COVID schedule and everything.
Yeah.
We are going to have to judge them differently than the other 4 teams on this list.
There's an asterisk.
Except maybe Ohio State. Ohio State with the 12-team playoff, like that's some different criteria as well. In the other direction.
Yeah, that is.
It's just there's so much talent. It's just what we're essentially judging. What if, you know?
I just want to clarify this. Are we like? So I have to remind myself this is a tier list, but I couldn't help but notice we've got 5 teams and we've got 5 tiers. So is this like
This is just a ranking, like straight up.
Is
Yep.
okay.
Straight up.
Is
Rank 'em
this
straight up.
neutral site time machine like the 2020 Alabama Crimson Tide is coming to 2025 to play Ohio State, or
I think I was thinking about more of just like the body of work in the year alone,
Yeah.
how like you would
How you
say
rank
that
the
stacks
team.
up. I mean,
Okay.
that could be a different video, like who would win in the
I mean-
hypothetical matchup. I mean, this would probably allude to
If we're
that,
splitting
essentially.
hairs, we can use that as a criteria.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I think there is 2 teams here that have an argument for number 1, and this Alabama team is one of them. In
They-
my opinion.
Yeah.
Now we can disagree. But in my opinion,
I just think
I-
that wide receiver core was nuts.
I think there's a clear top 3 in my opinion, and then there's a clear.
bottom 2.
Mm, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we all feel a certain kind of way.
There's definitely a bottom
It is
one
what it is.
in my opinion. Anyway, we can
Yeah.
get there when we
We'll
get there.
get there. We'll get there.
Focus on Alabama.
Let's focus on Alabama because, like I said, I mean, I think they have an argument for 1, in my opinion. If you're just looking at now, obviously, you do have to factor in the COVID year, right?
Yep.
How much does
See,
that play into it? So
I think
is the COVID saying the COVID year discounting it? It's like, oh, it was the COVID year and
Mickey Mouse.
it was different. There was no crowds. They didn't have to face the same kind of adversity in away stadiums, that kind of thing.
I mean, we went to games during this era. It was like
Yeah.
3 people across, and then
Yeah.
like 3 seats in between each fan. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
they've
was
got-
pretty spaced.
So just to put it in perspective, their home attendance. Keep in mind, Bryant Denny holds like 105, 109,000 people. They were floating around 19.4.
Hmm.
When it comes to that, yeah. So
That's nuts.
I think you can make 2 arguments for like the COVID year because number 1, it could be like, well, it was COVID, huge asterisk, Mickey Mouse ring, or you could say it was COVID. They had to overcome a lot of adversity to like still come together and focus on football. I mean, I
Yeah.
can see it either way.
You could argue.
Um,
I mean, I think there's arguments to be made on either side of that. But if we're excluding that, I mean, this is a pretty damn impressive team. Obviously, like we said earlier, undefeated national champions. It's a roster littered with NFL talent.
Yeah, with no cupcakes on the schedule.
No,
I wanna see
no
more
out of
all
about this
conference,
defense.
straight up.
What'd you say, Noah?
I want to see more about this defense. Who was on this 2020 defense? You said Surtain.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this defense included.
I got it up, or you got it?
Atlanta Falcons legend DeMarco Hellams.
Mm,
Not legend yet.
yeah,
Christian
not yet.
Armour made first
Jordan
team
Battle.
All-ACC.
Oh, Battle's good.
Will Anderson.
Yeah,
Oh,
Malachi
yeah.
Moore,
Yeah, Malachi Moore.
Brian Branch, Byron Young. I mean,
Crazy.
NFL players, NFL talent.
Yeah. Okay.
And hey,
then-
Tom and long snapper Thomas Fletcher. All right.
No disrespect to
No
Mr. Fletcher.
disrespect. Okay. Getting down to brass tacks here. If I had to put this team anywhere, if we're going full body of work, I would probably put them at 2.
Okay, so I know you're number 1 then. Okay,
We can
This is really
review
hard.
after the fact. Like if we want to start with 2020 Bama at 2.
Yeah.
Like,
Because, okay,
I
I'm
think
just-
the meat of this is going to be like when we're like splitting hairs between, like when we have a complete list and we got like 2 more teams to place. I think that's where this is going to get contentious.
Yeah.
I think so. I'll go ahead and say, I mean, I think what we're all thinking is this Bama team 2020 against 2022 Georgia. The 2 undefeated national championship seasons where you throttle TCU in the Natty and you go 15-0 or yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going
Comes
full
down to
body of
that.
work, going full body of work.
All right, so we'll put them at 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Good with that.
Two.
I like it too. That might be controversial. We don't care though. Anyways,
We are 3
do
Georgia
not
alumni. All right, listen. There's a bias here, and we don't care.
There's a G on my chest for a reason.
I mean, I think it's really close though, honestly. And I could see the arguments for 2020
Yes.
Bama. It's just okay. Let's save it for 2022 Georgia. I was about to go on my spiel. We'll save it because we have 2021 Georgia to attend to first. So the way we kind of alluded to it, I feel like we might have given it away. The placement of this Georgia team. I mean, obviously, this holds a special place in all of our hearts and all Georgia fans' hearts. I honestly enjoy 2021 more than I did 2022. You know, breaking the 40-year dry streak and against Alabama of all teams. So, but if you're looking at the resume and how they stack up, obviously you're not that team is not over 2022 Georgia with what they did. And then we already placed 2020 Bama at 2. So, I mean, unless you want to get into the conversation of if they're better than Ohio State or Michigan, if anybody has that thought, either two of you or anybody in either live stream, I'd love to have that conversation because I can't see it. But
I would just like to point out that this Georgia team had as many ranked wins as the 2020 Bama squad. They had 6. Now, I'm not going to argue that 21 Georgia would beat 20 Bama. I'm not arguing that. Because we all know, as people who are heavily emotionally invested in that season, our defense carried.
Absolutely, but it
100%.
helps. It was one of the best defenses to ever step foot on a college football field.
Like statistic, yes.
Best college football defense.
If you are ever, and I mean ever, getting compared to a early 2010s Kirby Smart Alabama defense, you are doing something correct.
Or even like 01 Miami. I remember those comparisons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like statistically speaking, those are the 3 best defenses like this century.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that defense at Georgia again. And I mean, it's fine. That is a generational defense. And if you don't believe me, go look at the Philadelphia Eagles defense right now.
True.
That's true.
Oh wait,
that's true.
In the Super Bowl. Yeah,
crazy.
So
I mean,
we
held Alabama to 18 points. We held Michigan to 11 points. We held Tech to 0. Nice. We're gonna skip Charleston Southern. We held Tennessee to 17 points. We held Missouri to 6. We held Florida to 7. We held Kentucky, number 11 Kentucky, by the way. We held them to 13 points. We held number 18 Auburn to 10 points. We blanked Arkansas. We blanked Vanderbilt. We held South Carolina. Was that Spencer Rattler, South Carolina?
I think so.
Either way, he's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, it was. It was.
We held him to 13 points. We held Clemson to 3 points. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Look,
the big blemish is obviously the SEC championship, but
and we're gonna skip that.
I just have the story to illustrate how good this defense was. That Kentucky game, you said what? Number 11 Kentucky.
11 Kentucky was 30 to 13
into Athens, right?
Benny Snell.
It was Benny Snell. I'm pretty sure it was.
And Will Levis.
There. It would have been Will Levis.
Halftime of that game, we're up 14-7 at home against a borderline top 10 team. I'm pissed. Like I was irate to only be up 7 against the number 11 ranked team in the country. Like,
yeah, I mean that was game day.
Yeah.
2 college game days at home that year. 1 for the Clemson opener, and then again for the SEC championship. So 4 game days.
It was definitely not Benny Snell. It was definitely Chris Rodriguez.
Okay. Well, Benny Snell wasn't too far off, I feel.
No, I don't think it was. Yeah, and Wandale Robinson. So
Benny Snell.
Just a little reminder.
I mean, I don't know. This was like, okay. Just just to point out how good our defense was. We won a national championship with Stetson Bennett. Now,
Like bad
obviously,
Stetson Bennett. Like
a bad
he
Stetson
was
Bennett.
Yeah.
Not
2020 Stetson Bennett than he was 2022 Stetson Bennett.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yep.
We can hold off to talk about 2022 Georgia, but 2021 Stetson Bennett was still
Learning.
maybe a starter at a Group of 5 college, maybe.
He was
But
about to go to
the
ULM.
Yeah, but the situation had it where JT Daniels had was a torn oblique or something like that and couldn't go, and it was Stetson's job from there on out.
It
Yep.
was something weird. It was like a core muscle injury or oblique
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. So all that to say, I think if we're talking full body of work as a total team, I would probably put them at 4. But probably the number 1 defense on this list.
I think too. And like the defense, it hurts my heart to say that, but like I'm trying to separate my like homer because like this team does have a special place in my heart. It's just
Yeah.
comparing them like offensively.
Yeah.
They did not impress me offensively, and they didn't have to, granted. They didn't impress me offensively till probably the Michigan game, which was the second to last game of the year. So
Little late. If we're talking full body, like they definitely hit their stride in the playoffs.
yeah.
But if we're talking full body of work,
I mean, your true freshman, granted, Brock Bowers is Brock Bowers, all pro as an NFL rookie. He was the leading receiver. Like your 5-star true freshman tight end was your leading receiver.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that this was the most potent offense. They just happened to be paired with, like we said, one of the best defenses ever. But yeah, I mean, if you're stacking them up against a undefeated Michigan team that we'll get to, resume wise, obviously they had the blemish in the SEC championship against Alabama. So that could definitely be a limiting factor. The only argument is if that defense elevates them far enough up to surpass an undefeated national championship, but I don't know if it does, if I'm being completely honest. Like we said, I think this team has a special place in all Georgia fans' hearts. But they weren't winning any style points that season. At some points they were, but I mean, offense did. I mean, I'm not going to say that offense was bad because it wasn't. But if you look into 2022, the difference is insane.
It's hard to not compare the two because it
Oh,
was back-to-back seasons. But
yeah. Okay.
I'm okay putting them at 4 because I feel like we're all chomping at the bit to talk about the next
22.
calendar year. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put them at 4 for now. Honestly, it hurts a little bit. I can't lie, but I think it's probably where it needs to be in terms of the precedent that we set.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be. So we can put them there.
yeah.
But anyways, the year that we're chomping at the bit to talk about, 2022 Georgia. Now take everything that we just said about the offense in 2021 and forget it, because I mean this season for Georgia, it was just blowouts.
I mean,
Left and right.
49, 33, 48, 39, 26, 42, 55, 42, 27, 45, 16. We'll get there when we get there. 37, 50, 42, and finally 65 points.
should we go down the list?
Of
Stetson Bennett, dog.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny McIntosh, dog.
James Cook.
Dog.
James left, right?
Hold on, let me look at my
Kenny
poster.
Mack and,
He said, let me look at my
Dejon.
poster.
Dejon Edwards, dog.
Yeah, you're right.
Donkey, dog. A.D. Mitchell, dog. It just goes on and on.
Yeah.
I can name this
Kenny-
team.
Kenny Mack, Kendall Milton, Dejon. Branson Robinson was RB4.
Yeah, I remember he got some playing time in that natty and he tore it up.
Yep.
Rosemy Jack Saint, Adonai Mitchell, Kyrus Jackson, Dominic Blaylock, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington.
Blaylock.
I mean, good
Darnell
God.
Washington was tight end 2 on that team.
Yes, he was. And that man is
Yeah.
6'8".
Yep. That's LeBron James in football pads.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
like, Broderick Jones, Xavier Truss, Cedric Van Pran, Tate Ratledge, Warren McClendon, like that. Oh, God.
It's big boys.
And that's just on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, Nazir Stackhouse, Michael Williams, Kamari Lassiter, Dalen Everett, Keely Ringo, Malachi Starks, Javon Bullard, Smile London, Dumas Johnson, Robert Beal, and Christopher Smith the second.
And Nolan Smith. He was out for the Natty through injury.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was there in spirit on the field.
Tyke Smith.
Just to point it out, Jalen Walker was the third string
You mean the
linebacker.
Buckus Award winner from this year?
Yeah, the Buckus Award winner from this last year was third string. And this was all under the watchful eye of, I miss him, Todd Monken.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator for the Ravens?
Yeah, Ladd McConkey was also on that team. I don't even think I said his name.
Ladarius.
Ladarius McConkey.
Ladd said in one of his interviews, I think it was his exit interview, he was like, the guys in the Chargers locker room call him Ladidi.
But so yeah, just to run down the schedule real quick. Let's see. That's that's a win against number 11 Oregon, 49-3.
That was
Let's see. Number 1 Tennessee, number 14 LSU, number 4 Ohio State, number 3 TCU. Not as many ranked wins as the other teams that we have mentioned already. I believe that's on. Fuck.
There it goes.
We lost him again.
That's okay. We're back. We are so back. Anyway, like, yes, less ranked wins. However, like, these are blowouts. Like,
save for Missouri and Ohio State, but
yeah, except for and Kentucky. Kentucky was 16-6, and Missouri was 26-22. But we took down probably the second best Ohio State team in the past 10 years.
I would argue
the
best.
Arguably the best. Arguably the best.
Let's keep it real. This year is over. That 2022 team with Stroud and Marvin Harrison, better than this year's Ohio State team.
Probably.
Worlds better.
Yeah. Yeah. They just happened to run into arguably the best team we've seen since 2019 LSU.
Probably.
We're about to make that argument right now, actually.
number 1, my lord.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what we set it up to do. I mean, running down their schedule outside of Missouri, which, look, everybody remembers that game. Most teams, I don't know if it was the road opener, but I mean, look, throughout the course of a season, I feel like you can point to games like that and a lot of these really good teams. If I'm not mistaken, that 2019 LSU had a pretty close little skirmish with Texas at the beginning of the season. I don't know if it came down to the wire as close as Georgia that year. But, I mean, I would argue that, you won a regular season game by 2 against Missouri at Missouri. But the rest of the season, you blew everybody out. I mean, it kind of is what it is. But
yeah. No, you're exactly right.
45-38. Sorry, go ahead. No, sorry.
45-38, that 2019 LSU into Austin. Sam Ellinger.
I believe that was Sam Ellinger. Yeah.
And 4 touchdowns.
There was also 45-38 Texas, 23-20 Auburn. And then obviously they had the shootout in Bryant-Denny, 46-41. So, I mean, that was a great game. I mean, that was just like, I think we're just further cementing that this 22 Georgia team is the number 1 team of the past 5 years because we're even getting to the point where we're comparing them to 2019 LSU. But we're just trying to say that good teams find ways to win close games. And that LSU team had 3, and we only had 2. That were just and 16. That's still a double-digit win on the road at Kentucky, and then yeah, Missouri was only 4 points. But literally, outside of those 2 games, until you get into the playoffs, every other victory was at least by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, until you get to the Peach Bowl, which is obviously,
Yep.
basically, essentially the national championship that year. So,
Yep.
Against, like we were saying, probably the most talented Ohio State team in a good while, even including this past year's national champion. So yeah, I mean, obviously, undefeated in the 14 playoff. Not something that was easy to do, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're all just kind of repeating ourselves and echoing. We're a little echo chamber right now. But we'd love to know in the comments if you have an argument for 2020 Bama over 2022 Georgia. I know there's people out there with that opinion. I know they exist. Probably a good bit of them. So we're open to discussion. I'm not shitting on 2020 Bama. Great team filled with NFL talent.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that Georgia team and their resume, I think it outperforms it.
We have an obvious bias. Like, we're saying that up front. So
We're being transparent, okay?
We're being transparent about the fact that we have a bias. However, I'm trying to take my heart out of it, and I still think that this team does.
Yeah, I mean, if we had that much of a bias, we wouldn't have put 2021 Georgia at number 4. So there's your proof. Anyways, I think we got them at number 1, unless anybody has any objections. So
No, sir.
we can move on to 2023 Michigan. Now, obviously,
undefeated Michigan.
The spots we have open are 3 and 5, which will go to the past 2 years national champions, both out of the Big Ten. Starting with Michigan, I mean, this is an undefeated team. Run game was very, very good. Ground game. Defense was very good, elite even. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy did enough for that team that year. I wouldn't say he was a selling point, but he was as good as they needed him to be. And honestly, that's not bad if you're winning the national championship. Can't fault you there. And with that running back duo, I mean, that tandem was obviously the best in that year. Some would argue, not what, I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to say a crazy statement on camera without thinking about it first. So we'll circle back to that. Anyways, I don't know. It's I feel like it's interesting to compare them to Ohio State now because I feel like the reaction of a lot of people around me when Michigan won it was kind of anticlimactic and, people discounting them and saying they're, the worst national championship of over the past however many years. But they were undefeated and they won the national championship, and that's not easy to do.
Their own fan base declared them the greatest national championship team of all time. That made no sense to me.
That's a stretch.
Nobody else even remotely said that.
Going 15.
They weren't a bad team, but
no, going 15-0 is.
It's impressive.
It's very impressive. I mean, they had 13 players.
4 teams have done that. LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Michigan. That's it.
Yeah, and they took down a Nick Saban-led Alabama team. On their way.
And they had 13 players go onto the draft. I mean, I don't know. It was a great season for the Michigan faithful. I'm not seeing a lot of awards on here, and I'm not. Oh, all Big Ten. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, Blake Corum, Will Johnson, J.J. McCarthy. Good God, they had a lot. All right, I'll give it to them. They had a lot of all Big Ten players.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won the Joe Moore Award that year as well.
Yeah.
For offensive line. I mean, it was a good team. There's no denying that. So, I mean, obviously between the spots that we have right now, 3 and 5, I feel like it's kind of obvious where they fall into that. I don't know if we want to have any more discourse about the team. I mean, Blake Corum was great. Low-key, I mean, so Donovan Edwards was good that year, but he low-key fell off like the face of the earth this year.
He's on the cover of the video game.
Yeah, they put him on the cover and he did jack shit.
Yep. But just
Anyways, not his fault, but
anyway, looking at the team, they didn't play their first ranked game until November 11th. And they closed out the season. Now, to be fair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their last 6 games were against ranked opponents.
ooh, special delivery.
Special delivery. Thanks, baby.
Got one from me.
But yes, 5 out of their last 6 games were against ranked opponents. Number 10, Penn State. Number 2, Ohio State. 16, Iowa, which was the conference championship. 4, Alabama, and 2, Washington.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this was one of the final years of the conferences in the Big Ten, right? If not
the divisions.
Yeah, the divisions
Yep,
within the conference.
Yep.
So I mean, they obviously benefited from that.
Yeah, I mean they won by 9 against Penn State. They beat Iowa by 26. They beat Ohio State by 6. They beat Alabama by 7 in overtime, as you all already mentioned, and then they beat the crap out of Washington 34-13. So
Justice for Michael.
This is for my dog. Yeah,
Michael Penile.
funny.
did him dirty. He was running for his life that game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was. I mean, great
So-
defense, like you already said,
Great
but
defense.
I just don't think it compares to some of the other defenses we've already discussed.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think it hurts me a little bit to put him over 2021 Georgia. But with kind of the precedent we've set with this list, I think being an undefeated national champion,
It earns you
Trumps
a little bit of merit. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think-
I mean, like we were just saying, only 4 teams did it in the 4-team playoff era. So it's not an accomplishment that should be looked over. That's for sure.
I do think it would be very interesting if 21 Georgia played this Michigan team on a in a time machine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a fun matchup. I genuinely don't think either team would be able to move the ball.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it might go to overtime 0-0.
Georgia did see a young McCarthy in mop-up duty.
Sure.
That 21
Yeah.
in that 21 matchup in the Orange Bowl, but yeah, no, I'd like to see both teams kind of in their prime.
Yeah, I think they're close. I mean, it'd be a fun idea for other videos is, just pick 2 teams like that and discuss who would win, which is what Drew was talking about earlier with this tier list. But
The team builder in like EA CFB 25 was any good. Like you could like create your own rosters. That would be a fun thing that we could
That would be fun.
can you not do that?
Would you let it simulate?
probably.
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah, we don't want to interfere
watch the games and like
with
film it and-
nature.
Yeah. Either we commentate over it
Yeah.
on the stream. That would be fun.
Mhm.
So
That
anyway,
could
here
be
we
fun.
go. JJ McCarthy dropping back, and he's on his ass again. Stetson Bennett drop back to pass, and he's on his ass
Again.
again.
Uh,
All right. So we put
Probably
the
what it
Steelers
would
at
be.
3.
yeah, I think that's where they need to be with the work that we've done so far.
Okay.
But what did you say?
I think that's where they need to be.
No. What did you say, Noah?
We're putting these cats at 3. What?
I'm sorry.
What?
See, this is where I completely think my answer changes 100% if we're talking like playing on the field comes into play.
No,
Because I think
I agree.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this is a body of work kind of.
Yeah,
Thing.
okay.
Yes,
Body of work, yes, they belong at
body
3.
of work with the precedent
Yep.
that we've set.
Yep.
Now-
yep.
Head to head,
wanted
that
to-
could be another video.
I wanted to go on record to say I don't agree with them being at 3 if we're talking head to head against some of these other teams. But
Head to head.
Anyway,
I'd probably have 21 Georgia like a lot higher because they were great at making you play their game.
sure.
Because they
Mhm.
would smother you. You know, you
Yeah.
would have to play you have to get into a rock fight with 21 Georgia.
You would have to play a Michigan brand of football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
There's
I
no
got distracted by the cake. I knew we were putting them at 3, and then you said 3, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. And then I remembered what the whole precedent of the video was. So
See, I thought you were getting mad at me for calling them cats.
no.
I thought you were like, they're Wolverines.
Actually,
Actually,
go
you
fuck yourself.
jive, turkey.
No.
Go ahead. Yep, keep going.
All right. Anyways, so next we have 2024 Ohio State, and only one place to put them at number 5, the weakest national champion on the list, which I think makes sense if we're looking at how we've ranked them up until this point. Obviously 2 losses, the first 2-loss national champion, rather, in a while. I believe since LSU, I forget what year that was, 07, 08, around there. But they come in at number 5. Looking at it compared to the other teams, I don't really think they stack up. Obviously, 3 teams that went undefeated. So if you're looking at it from that stance, from that argument, then I don't really know where else you can put them other than 5. Obviously, their run in the postseason was impressive. They turned it on at just the right time. After losing to Michigan at home in their final regular season game, so I don't think that's to be discounted. However, it was a very turbulent season. There were a lot of games that were closer than they should have been. Obviously, you lose to Oregon in a last second blunder. So
yeah.
Yep. And also they only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this number's a little inflated. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked wins. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 of those came in the postseason. So their 2 ranked wins were obviously 5 Indiana and 3 Penn State during the regular season, which is tough considering that they're now the Oregon loss, like we mentioned earlier, way earlier actually in the full live stream, not this video. That loss to number 3 Oregon, kind of excusable. It's in Eugene. It was by a point. Had the opportunity to win the game late in the game. And then, but obviously the loss to Michigan is almost inexcusable with the talent that's on this roster. We mentioned that Ryan Day almost got fired over it. At least that's the sentiment we were given from the outside looking in. But then, so full body work, I don't think you could argue putting them any higher. But if you take this Ohio State team, especially the Ohio State team we've seen over the past 6 weeks, and put them up against any of these teams, I think they make it a game. Just because, they were playing really well. The defense was flying around. Will Howard actually looked like a good quarterback and didn't sit down on the ball with 2 seconds left. I don't know. I think that'd be interesting to do a head-to-head video down the line.
Yeah. I think I like that. Maybe we do circle back to that later in the off season. I think I see it a lot kind of in lockstep with 21 Georgia, the discussion where that team put it together late in the season and went on a run. It's the same kind of deal. There were doubts. For 21 Georgia, it was the offense. For this Ohio State team, it was, also the offense. They laid an egg against their biggest rival at home. People were calling for Ryan Day's head. So what they do, they had a team meeting, they came together, and they, came to an understanding and won it all. So it was very impressive. But, if they had played like that the entire year, then I think we'd be talking about them like we're talking about, other teams on this list that, displayed their dominance throughout an entire season.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And Obviously, a lot of it hasn't come to fruition yet, but I think they have, really great talent on their roster. Up and
Mhm.
like earlier in the video, we were looking at Bama going down the line. Oh, this littered with NFL talent. I think this is that kind of team. You look back on it and you say, oh my God, there's so many names.
Yeah.
Because this is a very good on paper team, and I think they were the entire season.
Yeah.
It's just like you were saying, didn't really put it together until honestly, I mean, towards the end of the season, but
Until they
even
needed
really
to.
till that Michigan game, and then
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
on. So I mean, shout out to them. They had the unique opportunity of still making the playoffs and having the chance to do that, which is what it was advertised as being so great about the 12-team playoff. So you get that in your first year, it probably looks good for your argument for expanding the playoff. So, but in terms of the teams on this list, I just don't think resume wise they stack up.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
That
Good
is a
deal.
tier
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
That
If
is
you
a
wanna,
tier list.
Brandon, if you want to take us out from the meat,
I'll take us home, and then we can chat for a few before we hop off the stream.
Good deal.
So that's our first tier list back in the off season. It feels good. We kind of made a living off of these last off season. Admittedly, maybe not going to be doing them as much this off season, but we still really do enjoy it, and we'll do it enough to where it doesn't get stale. Because a good tier list is always fun and good conversation amongst the
Mhm.
three of us. But let us know in the comments how you think we did. If you think we don't know ball, which has been said, we would like you to let us know. And let us know where you would rank these teams at of this past decade. We'd love to hear from you. So we're live streaming this right now. If you're in it, thank you. If you remember at the beginning of the video, every week Tuesdays around 7:30 for live streams in the off season. So if you want to come in and chat and talk ball while we record, and maybe be featured in an episode if you so please. We'd love to have you. We're really looking forward to building that in the off season, and building the community and talking ball with y'all. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. And then that's the editing mark, and we can just chat and take the live stream home. So
Good deal.
Yeah, we are pretty much right at an hour. So kind of what we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
very nice.
That
So
was
Through
fun.
the activity in the TikTok, I've been keeping an eye on
There-
YouTube. I haven't seen much, but
Yeah. No one's
it's all
been
good.
chatting
We'll get
about-
there.
Yeah, it's fine. No one chatted, but I mean, we did have a couple people like hop in and then hop out, which is all good. I know that like when we've gone live on TikTok in the past, it's been like CFP, like ranking
Yeah,
react,
that's the traffic that we've got from those.
which is fine. Like I mean, it's a work in progress. This was night one. I was gonna be happy if we had two people in here, and I'm still happy. I'm glad we did this.
yeah, I think this is going to be fruitful for us. I think getting the word out there, number one, will be good.
Yep.
Continuing to like post about it and all that. One
And-
thing I did think about is making short form content based on that tier list. Like I'll make something in the morning that we can post.
Okay.
Just be like, hey, we got on a live stream last night and debated who's the best national champion of the last 5 years. Like, go check it out.
What you could do is you could like start from the bottom and say like the first like 2 or 3 and be like, if you want to hear the rest of it, you have to go watch the video.
That'd
We,
be cruel.
That
Yeah,
would be cool. I mean, it would be
Might-
like, yeah,
it might piss people off enough to not go look at the
That's
video.
true.
So maybe,
or it might
not,
piss them
but
off enough to go.
2.
Too good.
That could be the point. Or if
Um,
it's outrageous enough, you
Yeah.
get all the Ohio State fans coming over from them at number
Yep.
5.
I will say, oh, do we want to mention the other off-season item that we were looking at pushing?
Oh,
Noah? Yeah.
yeah. I was honestly gonna make a post about that tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, we
Cool.
can go ahead and say it though. I don't really care. I mean, there's. I'm pretty sure
Eh.
you're the only viewer in here right now.
According to YouTube, there's 2 people watching. I don't know if that includes.
I was in on my phone at one point, so that might still
Okay.
be me. So we might just be
Well-
talking to ourselves. But even if we're not, there might be people who come back and watch the replay
Exactly.
anyway. So
I,
we'll put it out there in the world.
Keep an eye
back
out
in my
for the Discord.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to build the community up. So
at the moment, barriers to entry are 0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we
don't
might
be
actually
weird.
pay you to be a part of it. Yeah.
Okay. I know it doesn't seem like anybody's downtrodden about how tonight went. I think it was really good because we were gonna record anyway.
yeah.
Might as well use this as an opportunity to like broadcast.
Mhm.
B, the amount of times back in my video game Twitch days that I streamed to nobody, or my burner, or to Eric, who I was playing with, far outweighed the nights I even had 5 people. Every now and then I'd get really lucky and Bowie would like raid my channel and I'd get like 40 people in there. I was like, oh my god, this is like classroom. I don't know what to I don't know what to do. But no, this was
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna help us both be like, I don't want to say like more concise, but you know, in
Two
some
birds,
of
one
those
stone.
recording sessions, it
Turned
would
into
go-
2
it would go
hours.
on a little long, and I think
Yeah.
learning
Yeah, it's a good way to.
to do more with less, I think is valuable in us taking that next step.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to keep ourselves in check, and also we can start incorporating CFB 25 maybe at some point as well after
Yeah.
our talking videos. If anybody's interested in that, we play viewers if we want.
I'm
We'll
down.
get more into that, but yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun.
Good deal.
So if anybody's watching this back, you can hear us. Feel free to let us know anything you want to see. Really, that's what we're trying to do is anything y'all want to see, and distract ourselves from the fact that we have many months from now in the beginning of the college football season. So
Let's see what the countdown is.
Set.
Days till
Set
week
6.5 months.
0.
I think it's like August 28th or something like that.
199 days, 15 hours, 22 minutes. Until
Kill me
college
now.
football is back.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, this keeps us going in the off season doing this. Honestly, look forward to it. Reminisce about college football until it's back. So, I know we're not the only ones who feel like that. So, if you feel any like that in any way in the slightest, I promise you, you'll enjoy what we got for you.
Well, the good news is it's not 199 business days. It's 199 days. So
True.
Mhm.
Hey, we're
Could be
sub
worse.
200.
yeah. Woo.
That'll play.
Small things, fellas.
Good deal, boys.
All right.
All right, we want to wrap the live with all of our audience.
Yeah, we had 3 people in here a second ago. Now it's back down to 2. But
All
Sorry,
good.
but-
Yeah. Sorry if you just got in here. We're ending it, but not ending it all. We'll be back.
That was
Maybe.
morbid. Damn, brother.
good lord.
Anyways, I don't think there's any good way to segue from that. But seriously, if you hopped in at any point, we appreciate you being here and listening to our absurd takes. We love doing it. You know, we'd like to say we would do it if nobody was watching, and we would, but it's
We
much
just
more
did.
fun with people
We just
watching.
did,
And we
yeah.
just did, but it is more fun with people watching. So if you're seeing this, please do consider hopping on live every week, Tuesday at 7:30. So,
Yeah.
anyways, fellas, if you have nothing else to add, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Now this is the awkward.